Hey guys, and welcome to the finale of Let's Play Xenosaga Episode 2. Last time, we had a whole bunch of weird cutscenes, learned about the anti-Udo shift and waveform shift, whatever it was, and Red Dragon mode. This time, we fight Albedo with safety level on ourselves, which means we cannot die. And he'll recast that, I believe. I don't think you can actually die in this fight, but basically all this is an excuse to, I don't know, fight. You have safety levels, it's not like you're gonna die. It's kind of a strange boss. His break zone at the start is BC, supposed to be BC.
Oh, this pain feels so good, so good!
Basically, his break zone changes all the time. As soon as you hit him, it will show up, and so we know what it is. If you don't have the memory skill that I learned way at the very start of the game, you're in trouble in this fight because you're going to do a lot of guessing. But other than that, the entire point of this fight is just break him 10 times.
Kill me now!
And yeah, he spends most of the fight berating you, telling you to kill him. And as you can see, his thing has changed. As soon as you've broken him, from what I've heard 10 times,
kill me is you, Rubido.
Then you deplete his HP at that point. Ice Blast, I have ice coats on to protect that. Because it can do a decent amount of damage. I would recommend healing if you need to, but you probably shouldn't have to. Just keep breaking him. His break zone cycles every time.
Did you already forget how to rip someone apart?
Albedo, you're awesome. Evil, but awesome.
Oh, this pain feels so good, so good!
If you deplete his HP before breaking him enough times, he'll just heal himself, using his regeneration powers. I'm not sure if it says something different when you finally break him 10 times, but if you just don't do anything in the fight and break him, by the time you get to killing him,
Yes!
or depleting his HP rather, you'll probably have broken him enough times. I'm not even counting. He will automatically counter boost every time you break him, so like you could build up a nice big chain, but it doesn't really help you any. But yeah, it's kind of a boring final fight.
Your heart's racing.
But I guess it settles their issue.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, I'm not sure how many times we're at this point. Like I said, I'm not counting.
Did you already forget how to rip someone apart?
Let's do another attack there. Maybe we'll do a little more damage. Bring him down a little more.
Come on, give me more, more, more!
He is weak to Aura if you're interested, 150%. So you could use Aura Sword. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna throw Aura Sword on there just so that he dies a little bit faster. You can also boost yourself if you want to. You do a little more damage, not a whole lot
What's
more.
Wrong? Kill me now! Hurry!
Okay. He's a little more insane than I think he ever was before. Sometimes he can have 3 zones as his break. Hit him one more time.
Eat this.
There we go. Get some better damage out.
Come on, give me more, more, more!
Yeah, you can't really do this any faster. If you drain all his HP, he'll just recover a lot of it, so. Once you've broken him enough times, he will counter when he dies instead of healing with Eternal Chain. And that's about it. Eternal Chain will bring Junior down to 1 HP. And the battle ends. There's a victory screen for some reason. I don't know. I was thinking of ending the last episode off there and starting this episode with the database, but I didn't want to start the finale with the database, so I tacked it on the end of the last episode instead.
Not bad. Ruby doll.
Albedo, you...
Well, Ruby doll. Admit it. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
He probably did.
It was fun. My blood danced in my veins. We really are nothing more than instruments of war.
So it seems.
No, that's not it. We're not foolish because we're tools. It's because we're men. Oblivion, huh?
Oh?
You might say this is a release.
He might be referring
At
to
least,
men as
I
in
won't have
humanity.
to fear losing anyone anymore.
Albedo?
What's with that face? You look like you just lost your best friend, Ruby doll.
You bastard! You knew all along!
What are you talking about?
Yes, he did.
I can't stand you or Negredo.
Sure you can't.
Rubido. Beware of Negredo's shadow.
Hmm?
Think why it is he doesn't react to Udo.
Yeah, they don't really talk much about it, but he doesn't react the same way the other URTVs do with Udo. I think they mentioned it once. Now, they don't explain this. Even in the database in episode 3, it makes no sense, so I'm not even going to show it.
No, don't go! Albedo, don't go! Don't leave me alone!
Oh, look, Rubido. I'm free.
And crucified. Yeah, we get it. Jesus reference. Nice. Well done, game.
Albedo! Albedo!
After all the evil that Albedo has done, they wrote him a redemption storyline. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. But I do like that scene. It's pretty cool.
What's wrong, Rubido?
I can't hear it. My right chest. I can't hear my other heartbeat anymore.
Is that why you're crying?
Leave me alone. I just tore away half of my body with my own hands. The me that's here isn't me anymore.
Were you really that weak, Rubido? That's not the Rubido I know.
Who cares? None of that matters anymore.
Get up, Rubido. There are people waiting for you. Don't let them down now. Remember the promise that you made me? Please promise me. Promise you'll come back.
And that's the other promise he made. Promised her to take after her mom and her sister.
You're right.
Promised Momo he'd come back. I do like this scene as well.
I promised I'd protect your sister. Didn't I? I couldn't protect my younger brother. But there are still people I care about who I can protect.
This is true.
Rubido. That's the Rubido that I love.
Sakura. Thanks.
And with that, look who it is.
Junior. Come on. Let's go back to the others.
And Nephilim.
Finally, he'll be able to find peace.
Yes,
We've seen these two
but
communicating before.
this is not the end.
No. We have another game.
This is just the beginning.
Of course it is, because that's cliche.
A tiny ripple has just been born in the world that surrounds them. One day, that ripple will grow into a large wave, and it will swallow even them.
That's the Zohar.
Yes.
That's the
And
original.
that's why I want him to rest. Even if his rest is but a short one.
Now, I've heard it said that Chaos may have had something to do with that vision of Sakura. I'm not entirely sure on that, but yeah, all of a sudden he's back.
Sorry to worry all of you.
Junior! Thank goodness!
Well, that's not the spanking he was promised.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, I promised after all. But it was really this guy who saved me. Guess I owe him another one.
And he's gone. It's just like, if I stay here, I'm going to have to explain how I did all this,
Junior.
and I ain't going to do that.
Did you make up with him?
I don't know about that. We were both pretty stubborn.
Yes, you
He
are.
said he hated me, right to the bitter end.
He did indeed, though we don't buy it.
I see. So it was just a big family squabble, huh?
Mary, we have a Zohar confirmed at point 3E. Referencing the coordinates with the simulator, there's a 93% probability it's the original that was on Milsha.
Nice work. Ready to wire the pod for launch.
Yeah, let's go get that
This is
before
our
somebody
last
else
job.
does.
Give it everything you got.
Warning signal. Abnormality in the surrounding space detected.
Can't
What?
anything go
Give me
right?
a full report.
Large-scale spatial distortion detected. A
Now
large mass is
what?
fading out.
This usually
Mass
means...
estimate increasing. Immeasurable.
Oh,
It's
boy.
materializing into normal space.
A gnosis? You
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me. There can't be a gnosis that big.
Jagway, approaching.
We've seen some pretty big whale-sized noses that are pretty much the size of our ships.
It's coming. Abel's Ark.
Abel's Ark? Thought it was Noah's Ark. No, this one's Abel's Ark. Somehow, the dam rung's here too now. I don't really know why, but... Holy shit! Thing's bigger than a planet! Holy shit! And there goes the Zohar. I'm not going to get that. That's not happening. Whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute.
It's been a long time, Yeshua.
Yeshua?
I'm pleased that you've come. But
Did he just call him
didn't
Jesus?
you say you weren't going to intervene? I've made up my mind. I won't hold back anymore.
You're breathing in space
That's wonderful.
and talking to
I'm
somebody in a
thrilled
ship.
that you'll finally be entering the stage.
There's your confirmation. Chaos, not quite normal human. There's your undeniable proof. He breaks pretty much any law that you could possibly give him. And with that, let's let the credits roll. Yeah, they changed some voice actors, and some of them were, well, pretty much anyone they replaced wasn't as good as the original. This song, also not as good as the ones from the previous game. At least in my opinion. Now, after losing Albedo,
Think it'd be okay if I kept a dog on the bridge?
A dog?
Hey, come here, boy.
a white dog.
His name's Albie.
Named
He's an albino,
Albie.
so Albie.
He's Albedo.
He's got a kind of tough-looking face.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't misbehave like someone we know.
Albedo. Yeah, that's basically he's replacing Albedo. There's Mommy.
Welcome back, Momo.
It's good to be back.
And look who's
I'm
all
planning
fixed
on
up.
living with Momo for a while.
For a while?
I'd like to ask you to protect her again should the need arise. What are your plans now?
Through the kindness of the representative trustee, I have been assigned to the Kukai Foundation. I'm to be stationed on the Durandal, and if Momo requests, I will be loaned out to her as a matter of priority. For that purpose,
Well.
I will also be undergoing life extension.
And
Really?
everyone's happy.
Which representative trustee made the request?
The little one.
Of course.
You mean Little Junior, right?
Little Junior. Of course, who else could it be? That's pretty cool.
So, you're really going?
I don't believe this chain of events is truly over.
Of course it's not over.
And I'm concerned about that Ormus organization the Patriarch mentioned.
Oh, in the Japanese
Of course.
version, he was the Pope.
Your bookstore idea didn't last 6 months. I hope you won't be changing jobs again quite so soon.
They censored it to be Patriarch instead for
I'll
obvious
do the best
reasons.
I can. Although, I don't know if time will wait another 6 months.
Before something interesting happens? No.
Time to get moving. Come on up to the deck.
And yeah, Jin goes on to the Elsa. Are you gonna do
Be
it?
careful, okay?
I guess that's as far as she's gonna get. They kind of make up a bit there. I guess it's good that they didn't go kind of straight overt with it and make it too obvious, but it has to be something that's done over time, right? What's up, Alan? Somebody kick him. Somebody, yeah, thank you. Kick him too. At least no one's glasses get broken this time. Hello, person who is written out of the game.
Welcome back, Shion!
That would be
Sounds
Miyuki.
like a lot happened.
You can say that again.
Shut up, Alan.
It's too much for a quiet engineer. I just want to take a nice long vacation.
I could go for one of those.
Alan, your vacation will have to wait. You've got mountains of reports to fill out.
Oh, shit.
What? Are you serious?
Poor Alan's getting abused. On every report, I'd say, no, I ain't doing this.
Well, KOS-MOS, shall we get going? It's time to go home.
Is it now? Now, the downside to the Xenosaga endings is they don't give me a lot of time to actually make a review of the game, considering they do cutscenes for half the bloody ending. Anyway, back to the voice acting and the music. Now, the music is actually really good. I do love the music for this game. Having two different composers, two different styles working through the game was a great idea, and it worked out really well. In fact, I think Episode 2, as music by itself, I think it stands alone better than any of the 3 games. So that's a pretty cool idea. The fact that some of the voice actors got changed, not really for the better, was kind of unfortunate. I'm not sure if they were cheaping out or what they were doing, but it's a little bit worse that way.
So this is the Y data.
How do you have that?
But there's a great deal missing.
Oh?
But both he and the UTIC organization have completely poured through the Realian's main database.
He only went as far as the subconscious.
Below even that, in the lowest level of the unconscious domain. Are you saying the answer lies in the Unus Mundus?
The UMN?
Most likely.
Really? Well, I suppose we'll leave it at that for now. When the path to lost Jerusalem is opened,
You're the only one
KOS-MOS
with that color of eyes.
will awaken.
What do you mean, awaken?
So,
Isn't she already awake?
what will you do with him?
Him? Who's him?
I said it was a shame, didn't I?
There you have it. Good news, huh, partner?
Partner?
Welcome. Weaver of the Eternal Circle of Zarathustra.
A White Testament. I wonder who that could possibly be. I'm not telling you. You get to wait until episode 3 to figure that out, if you haven't already figured it out yourself. To continue with what's left of the review there, voice acting, kind of a downgrade, kind of unfortunate. Episode 3 is nice. They bring back one of the voice actors. They cut out all the stupid filters over everybody's voice, which was really annoying in this game. The characters themselves in this game, I don't like what they did with Shion's character or Momo's character. Both of them kind of just made 180s and started doing stupid things when they shouldn't have. So, like, Momo is just a lot more childish in this one, which is unfortunate. It's a little worse than what they were doing with her in the first one, where she was a lot more independent and more of an interesting, growing, dynamic character. In this one, she does very little, other than, you know, what she did during the subconscious domain stuff early on in the game. Shion kind of becomes a bit of a bitch in this one. In the first game, she is very determined, very strong, but also very weak. She's always kind of unable to deal with all the situations around her. She still has certain aspects of that weakness here, but I guess she hardens, her character hardens in the fact that she doesn't have as much of it, but she's also kind of more of a bitch as well. And that's kind of unfortunate. Most of the other characters, they grew just fine. I like the inclusion of Jin as a character. He's got a great voice actor. He's a lot of fun, very interesting. Now, the story is kind of unfortunate. The story has a lot of elements that are interesting, but basically shown off by the fact that I've had to include database entries in the last little bit of the game just to explain what is going on, is just kind of shows that they just didn't pace this properly. There's a big pacing issue with the story for this game. Also, they've cut the amount of cutscenes from, I think it was like 7 hours in the first game to only 4.5 hours in this game. I understand that it was a complaint about episode 1 having too many cutscenes. I like those cutscenes, but episode 2 has less cutscenes, and it seems like you spend too much time on what's leading into the next point, the gameplay mechanics, the GS campaign, the segment addresses, and the battle system. It just takes too long to do all these things before you get back to the storyline. So it seems like it kind of gets cut and jumbled, and it's like, oh right, we were working on that thing when you finally get around to going back to the plot. It's kind of an unfortunate turn. Like the gameplay itself, the way that you learn skills is kind of unfortunate. You really do have to grind in order to get good ones, and even with the ones that we have, we'll need to get a few more before we can even finish all of the optional bosses. That being said, the game is a lot shorter story-wise, so I kind of wish it was a little bit longer, even if they had to cut out some of the bonus dungeons. They're interesting. As far as post-games go, it's actually got a really good post-game. Lots of good stuff to get, lots of super bosses, lots of extra dungeons. Great idea. Kind of deserved to be in a game that was a little longer. So, give and take, I guess. Again, the battle system is hit and miss, because once you've played the game 2 or 3 times and you have a guide sitting in front of you while doing the battle system, it's not nearly as bad as it was, say, the first time or even the second time that you played the game. Basically, the battle system isn't even playable without the excellent strategy guide on GameFAQs because it actually shows the percentage of weakness. You scan an enemy, use Analyze, it just shows it's weak to Pierce and, say, Aura. But you don't know by how much. It might be 125% weak to Aura, but 350% weak to Pierce. But you don't know that until you look at a guide. This is something that really should have been simplified, I think. It just takes too much time, too much effort, too much looking into things, too much reading through guides to figure out how you should play the game that really should be a lot more apparent. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to go over for today. And of course, my controller fell asleep while I was babbling. Let's save. And I saved there, and we'll save over that one too. Once we've done that, we've saved clear data, which, as I was mentioning earlier, leads into the post-game. Now, the post-game is a lot of fun in terms of all the different things that I mentioned before, bosses and such, but there's also more GS camping. And there's more segment address stores. So there's going to be a bunch of backtracking. So I'll be doing a bunch of this stuff off screen, but yeah. That's pretty much all I had in mind for the finale. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stay tuned for bonus episodes coming soon.